Persona 3. I have finally completed it. It has been a really long ride. Ride that really wasn't that long. Retrospects, only 2 years or so. I started playing the game in like 2020, but this game was truly an amazing experience that I would love to replay again. And it was a really enjoyable game, and I'll tell you why I think so. But before we do that, we gotta do the obligatory history of X game. In this case, Persona 3. You know why? I honestly just want an excuse to show off the promotional concept art for these characters. It's just super cool. I just want to show that off. Shit. Sometime after the release of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, Atlas R&D1 started work on another Megami Tensei game. And that game was Digital Devil Saga, which is a really good game from what I've played. But around the same time, Atlas team started work on a game called Persona 3. This game was set to change the formula of the previous 3 games by introducing the One More system. In early concept footage, the encounters are shown seamlessly transitioning from one screen to another, although, due to memory limitations, this had to be removed. Concept art was also created around this time, and in my opinion, some of these designs, man, are better than some of the final ones. I love the final designs, but some of these, they're just better. For example, well, before I give you an example, here's a little piece of trivia. Aegis' headphones were designed to resemble the Antikythera mechanism, an analog computer made by the ancient Greeks to predict eclipses, as well as the location of stars and zodiac constellations. Now, to get on the examples, a lot of the changes made to the designs make them look almost nothing like their original counterparts. For example, the protagonists don't even look similar. The only comparisons you can give to these characters are that they look like NPCs. You can't tell me these characters don't look like fucking normal classmates you would see copy-pasted all over, GeckoCon. And there's also intended to be a femc in this game, but due to time constraints, they didn't do that until Portable, which is a time where they didn't have time constraints. Junpei was supposed to look like fucking Mark from Persona 1. I mean, not exactly, but come on. You can't tell me they're the same. You can't tell me that they are not the same person. Come on. It's fucking hilarious, man. I'm kind of sad they got rid of that design, to be honest. It looks way better, in my opinion. And another design which looks much closer to the final shows Junpei with more spiky hair, which is more resemblant of his Persona 4 Arena Ultimax design. Another design, Yukari had 2 designs, one which looked very similar to generic student. Yeah, this is another one of those generic student designs I was talking about before. And another one which looks much closer to her final design, but with longer hair. And interestingly enough, the design with longer hair is more reminiscent of the one in the FMVs, because for some reason, in the FMVs, Yukari has longer hair, and this isn't shown in any of the final material except for the Persona 3 Vanilla and FES FMVs. I don't know who thought this was a good decision, especially considering it's inconsistent with the art that Soejima made, and the fact that no art made by Soejima contains this long hair. Shinjiro had a very different design that does not even look anywhere near what he looks like in the final. This looks like it's straight out of Final Fantasy. Like, I'm not even joking. Look at this fucking design and tell me. I'll give you 3 seconds. All right, we're done here. Another design which looks a lot closer is probably the design they finally went with. Koromaru was a different type of dog entirely, being a Dalmatian instead of a Shiba Inu. Fuka used to look like Chihiro Fushimi before design got changed. And you know what they did? Her beta model and her design were repurposed for Chihiro in the final game, which I think they did the same thing for Hifumi in Persona 5, except they just wait, yeah, they repurposed Hifumi, who's initially supposed to be Makoto, and they changed Makoto's design, and then they used Hifumi as a confidant, similar to how they did with Fuka and Chihiro. Mitsuru had shorter hair, which, in my opinion, does not look as good, to be honest. Akihiko was supposed to be a super obnoxious ladies' man in the original game, although he was changed to the exact opposite in the final, which is a good decision, to be honest. I wouldn't want some annoying fucking cool guy being one of the best characters in the game in battle, to be honest. His design is nearly the exact same, but his hair is less frizzy. It's less, you know, you know. I guess had many design changes, with the ones I'm showing on screen being some of the few I could find. Initially, she wasn't even intended to be a robot at all. Like, I mean, actually, she was, but a lot of the staff members were against this idea. Ryoji was supposed to have longer hair and a Gekkokan jacket, and look at that! A full body render of the final design of Ryoji Mochizuki, which is a lot harder to find in full transparent than you think. Like, if you just go on Google, search up the characters' names, you can find most of the C's characters, aside from Akutsuki and Faros, with already transparent designs. But for some reason, this character, nope, nope. And Akutsuki and Faros, nope, forget them. You gotta look for them. Faros is a little less hard to look for, and especially Akutsuki, but Ryoji? Yeah, you're gonna have to do some digging. Jin was also supposed to have longer hair, which, in my opinion, looks better. Like, I'm kind of digging this design. And Chidori remains nearly identical. Takaya, I don't even know. Like, I couldn't find anything about Takaya's older designs. All I could find was a non shaded, flat color version of his final game render, and that's it. Regarding the gameplay, before social links existed, Yukari was intended to be the canon love interest, which it's pretty obvious why they got rid of that, but honestly, it kind of feels like it was a bit meant to be that way. Although that's pretty obvious considering it was intended to be that way in the initial. In March 2006, Famitsu showed off screenshots of the original game featuring art of the characters and their personas, as well as their community feature, which is called Social Links and Localization. It was released in July 2006 to, get this, mixed reception. Yeah. Since it was like super new and something that they haven't done before, some people love the new fresh ideas the Century brought. Others hated it and wished the game went back to its dungeon crawler roots. Which I love this game as it is, but if it was a dungeon crawler, I'd low key fucking adore it, like even more than I already do. Like, oh my god! Now that that's done, it's about time to talk about the story.